Canada spouse visa after PG work permit refusal. This is the topic of today. I am sharing a great success story of Bhavin, who recently got his spouse open work permit based on his wife, who has completed her study in Canada, and after that now she is on PG work permit, and based on Manali we got spouse open work permit of Bhavin. Bhavin earlier got PG work permit refusal, came back to India, and now this is a great example of being kind of benefits of being married. Earlier he got PG work permit refusal, and he was unable to get PR by himself. Later on, Manali, his wife, went for study and completed her study as well, got PG work permit, and she is now bringing her back based on spouse open work permit. So this is a story which I am sharing with you. I am going to share all the details about his profile, all the case. Manali has completed her study in CBU. She went to Canada, Manali Day, she went to Canada through us in CBU. Now she is having 3 years of PG work permit. Half of the PG work permit is already gone. And now she asked me to apply for spouse open work permit, and we got the visa as well. During the processing, we got to know about the refusal of PG work permit of her husband. And then it became a kind of different case for us, because he has already lived in Canada, came back to India because of PG work permit refusal. I don't know all the reasons about PGWP refusal, but anyway, today it doesn't matter, because now he has spouse open work permit. He can go back to Canada, start his life again. Probably they are going to get PR as well, because Manali is having a really good job in healthcare. That is going to help their family to get the PR. So this is the PPR of Bhavin, who got his spouse open work permit on February 4th, this month only. And this is his story about refusal. He already had study visa refusal earlier and one PGWP refusal as well. So these two refusals were there. One of the unique cases. So when you are married, you can switch your roles. This is one great example. So earlier he went on study and could not get PG work permit due to some reason. I did not even ask him for the reason. I wanted to ask, but I need to make this video, so I was in hurry to make this video. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Somehow he did not get PG work permit, and now Manali is in Canada, his wife, and now she has got PG work permit and in the process of getting her PR as well. So even after getting a refusal, even after leaving Canada, you can switch your roles. And earlier, for example, earlier wife goes on study and she has completed the study, got PG work permit, your permit is expiring now, PG work permit is expiring now, you have stayed in Canada for 5 years or more than 5 years, now you don't know what to do. Now husband can start study. Husband can start study, and it will give you 5 years of runway in Canada, because 2 years of study, 3 years of PG work permit, and now earlier wife studied, now husband can study. Similarly, you can switch the roles as well. Earlier husband went on study, now wife can go on study. So this way you can extend your stay in Canada. This is one similar example where he had to leave Canada, and actually he left in between the allowed period. That's a great thing. Whenever you get some kind of notice to leave Canada, ideally you should leave as soon as possible rather than creating an issue, because you should not shut your doors to go back to Canada. He did this thing quite right, that he left Canada without creating any issues. He was not deported. He left by himself voluntarily. So that's a great thing. Whenever you are stuck in a situation, don't take we call it kacha lalach kind of decision. So don't take any decision for short-term gain. This decision is going to impact all of your future applications in all the countries. So whenever you are in this kind of situation, many people are stuck in this kind of situation in UK as well, because they try to get PR in UK, they don't get it. Ultimately they try to apply for refugee, they don't get it. Ultimately they will require to leave, or if they get caught, then they are deported. So don't stuck in this kind of situation where it goes in your file and you are unable to apply for your visa application in future. So don't do that. So he did it right, that he came back to India. Now he is able to get spouse open work permit. Legally, he is able to enter again in Canada. So that's a great thing that you should follow as well. In terms of his profile, he is a lecturer right now. And any job you are doing right now is going to impact your spouse visa application, any application, whether you are applying for study visa, spouse visa, visitor visa. If you are not working right now, it is going to impact your application negatively, because it is a prospect of returning home. Because career prospect is the biggest prospect of returning home. If you are not working, at least show yourself a freelancer. Show something that you have some work in your home country and you will come back for that work. If you are working full time, great, that's the best thing. But even if you are not working full time, still show yourself having some career. If you don't have any career, it means that your establishment in your home country is quite poor. it becomes a reason of refusal. So always show yourself working, at least show yourself working as a freelancer if you are not working full-time anywhere. Earlier he has worked in Canada. All these jobs are in Canada. So usually you are going to find the jobs which we call survival jobs. They are in retail sales or machine operators, or whatever job people get during their study period, they do it. Machine operator, so he was doing all kind of jobs which were available to him during his study period. So this is his experience. Education, he has a bachelor's degree, but even if you do not have any education, it's fine. Then do not mention any education. Even if you have 12th, even if you have 10th, even if you do not have any education, still as of today, for spouse visa, education is not a problem. Experience is important, education is not really important. If you have it, great. If you don't have it, it's also fine. It's not a problem at all. Then eligibility wise, the basic eligibility, because now the spouse in Canada, primary applicant in Canada is on work permit. If the primary applicant in Canada is on work permit, in that case, first eligibility criteria is we require a 16 months of pending work permit. So Manali, she is on open work permit, PG work permit. She requires to have more than 16 months of work permit left. If the spouse in Canada is having closed work permit, rule is same. If we are applying for spouse open work permit based on the primary applicant and primary applicant has a work permit or applying for a work permit, then that person, primary applicant in Canada, requires to have at least 16 months of work permit or eligibility to get 16 months of work permit. So this is the basic eligibility criteria. So Manali has her PG work permit which is valid till May 2027. So she is meeting 16-month criteria. So she has more than, we are in 2026. So when we applied for visa, she had more than 16 months of work permit left. But if you are going to apply for spouse visa now, today, if Bhavin didn't get visa in this application, previous application, then he wouldn't be getting it anymore. Because as of today, now we are in February, now Manali does not have more than 16 months of work permit left. So if we need to apply for the spouse visa today, in that case, Bhavin is not eligible for spouse open work permit. So you need to remember this particular thing. Whenever we are applying for spouse open work permit or spouse open work permit extension, primary applicant needs to have more than 16 months of work permit left or eligibility to get more than 16 months of work permit. So anything is fine. So it has one thing, like whenever you are applying for your PG work permit, PGWP, that time you do not have any work permit. You have 0 work permit. So, but you have 3 years of PGWP eligibility. So that eligibility, when you are applying for PGWP, along with that, we can apply for SOWP or SOWP extension. So it does not matter even if you do not have the permit right now. So whenever you are applying for this permit, that time as well, we can apply for spouse visa as well. It is allowed. So it's not like that you need approval, then only you can apply for spouse visa. No. You can have the eligibility to get the approval, then also you can apply for spouse open work permit. There is no problem in that. So first eligibility criteria we were meeting, that is 16 months of work permit left. Second, she needs to have a job in appropriate tier level. It can be on tier 0 or 1, any job, or tier 2 or 3. There are specific no codes in that. They are in priority list. They are in healthcare, trade, transportation. These type of jobs are there. STEM, these type of jobs are there. So she is working as health support aide, tier 3, even if it is on tier 3, but no code is 33102. This no code is allowed. This is, I guess, nursing assistant no code. This no code is in the list of eligible occupations for spouse visa. So that's why even if she is working on tier 3, we got spouse open work permit. There is no problem in that. We need to have appropriate documentation for that. What kind of documents are required? I have made a separate video for that. That is what kind of documents you require to prove your job. I'll share it quickly with all of you guys. So first is job reference letter, most important document, job reference letter. Second is job offer letter. Even if you don't have job offer letter, still we can work. If you have it, good. If you don't have it, it is fine. Job reference letter is mandatory. We need to have it. Third is salary account statement. It is one mandatory document you should provide. Salary slips you should provide. Even if salary slips are not there, still it can work, but salary account statement is mandatory. But try to provide salary slips as well. Then fifth is eligibility documents. to do this particular job. For example, she is working as health support aide. Now we needed to provide how did you get this job? Who allowed you to get this job? Are you eligible to get a job in this particular no code? So we need to prove that as well. So we need to attach those eligibility documents as well. Those are also important. Earlier we were not attaching them, but we have seen people getting refusals. Then we started attaching all these documents. So earlier we were not even attaching salary account statement, because salary account statement was one document. If the salary slip is there, if you are already working in Canada, you can check, visa officer can check quite easily that whether you are working in real or not. But after getting refusal where it was written that you did not provide salary account statement, I never provided salary account statement for Canadian jobs. Never. We never required it. But now, because IRCC, they come up with something new each time. So these two things are additional. You should provide. It can lead to refusal unnecessarily. So eligibility documents, and second, salary account statement, two important documents. Third is job reference letter, the most important document. You must provide these documents. So because she completed her study in healthcare in Canada in CBU, so we provided the degree which she has completed, PG diploma which she has completed in CBU. So we provided that as well. So we completed all the job requirements for this particular no code. So second requirement is done. Third requirement is liquid funds. So they don't have any kids, so their financial requirement is 29,000 Canadian dollars. So we are just barely meeting 29,000 Canadian dollar. That is the requirement. And even after that, we get visa. Most of the case, earlier also I made a video for Bina. There also we were barely meeting the financial requirement. Before that, we made video for Kamna, I guess. And before that, we made video for Hema Malini. So in all the cases, you can go and check. All of them were meeting barely. Prem Kumar, all of them were barely meeting the financial requirement for spouse visa, and they got the acceptance. So this is possible to get visa even if we are barely meeting the financial requirement. If the funds are old, you can show them in your home country. If the funds are new, you can make a GIC. Yes, for spouse visa as well, you can do GIC. Send the entire money to Canada. It is going to improve your visa chances. So how much funds were available? Approximately $31,000 were available, and funds in wife's account in Canada, $20,000 approximately. Wife's fixed deposit savings in Canada, so $5,000. So approximately $25,000 were in Canada. Wife's fixed deposit in India, $3,000, and Bhavin's fixed deposit in India around $2,000. So you can see Bhavin just had only $2,000. Remaining all the funds are available with Manali. It doesn't matter who is having the funds, whether these are with wife or husband, it doesn't matter. They should be with both of them together. They should be accessible to both of them anytime. That's it. So entire fund can be with husband, entire funds can be with wife, and they can be in the combination 50-50. They can be in the combination 80% or 20%, 90%, 10%, doesn't matter. Both of them combined should have the complete financial capacity. That's fine. It doesn't matter that we are applying for spouse visa of Bhavin, then Bhavin needs to have funds. No. Either husband or wife, anyone can have funds, and it is perfectly fine. This is a great example where Bhavin just had $2,000 and the remaining funds are with Manali, and most of the funds are in Canada. Some funds are in India. Yeah, that's it. It's also fine. Funds can be in India or Canada. If you have old funds, old FDs, show them the way they are. If you have new funds, you recently managed them, send them to Canada in the form of GIC. That's how you should proceed for your visa application. So this was the case, kind of a unique case, can give you some kind of insight that if you are married, you can take the benefit. So you can switch your roles, extend your stay inside Canada, or if you are stuck outside the way Bhavin was stuck, because he did not get PG work permit. I believe he did not complete his study. Some issue might be there. That's why he did not get it, because that time there was no rule of IELTS English test as well. So there must be a scenario he did not complete the study and PG work permit was refused, or there must be a gap of more than 4 months, which is not allowed, more than 150 days, or he might have overworked during the study period. That may be an issue as well. Any of those issues lead to refusal of PG work permit. Any which way, so it doesn't matter to us right now. After that scenario, he has got his spouse visa again. If you want to apply with me, you can ping me on my WhatsApp number. You can call Aman as well. You can call me as well. We are going to take care of your case. No matter what kind of complexity is there, whether you have 5 refusals, 10 refusals, whether you are unable to understand that should you apply for visitor visa or spouse visa, you are applying for spouse visa again and again, you are getting refusals, we can take care of all those cases. I recently uploaded video of one was, I forgot the name, Prem Kumar, another someone else was there, I forgot the name, sorry. So they got visas after 5 and 6 refusals. So it is possible to get spouse visa at any age, after any number of refusals, it doesn't matter, and we can take care of the application. And I have already showed in all the videos that even if you are barely meeting the financial requirement, you can still get your spouse open work permit. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. See you in next video.